think every interview I've done so far about Brian, the one thing I always talk about, and this is with everybody, with Rick, Mike, Sam, Phelps, front blunt down hubba.
That was
just, I mean, that big
shaved head. It was just like, it was big, and he had, he had his flannel, and he just like burly, like a monster human being that was just like the most manliest figure I've ever seen.
First of all, he looks like a crazy axe murderer when he's coming up. Dude, he's all... He does that move, and you're just like, okay, so Hubba just got super intimidated, shrunk about 3 inches, and then he just front blunted the shit out of it in like, what, 90, is it 98, 97? And he looked
flannel on with a like a bicked head.
Bicked head, he looked so badass. I was like, who is this dude?
Like, as a skateboarder, like, what I liked, it was like his aggression, his style, determination, and he had it all. Whatever it was he was skating for, I saw it, and I totally fed off that whole thing.
Explosive power. You see Brian Anderson do a tray flip, it's like this big explosion, stomp, super powerful.
I don't think I need to talk about how gnarly Brian is, because everyone knows how gnarly Brian is.
He's just easy on the eyes. He's relaxed, casual. He doesn't ever stress it out. He ain't a spaz. And that's why I gave him Skater of the Year. This dude right here is obviously skate rad cool. He don't give a shit. He skates, grinds big rails, get a sweet kickflip, yada-da.
Brian was just born with awesomeness. That awesomeness is different than any other skater, I think. It's what Brian is and who he is.
Over the years, I've been on a lot of tours with a lot of different guys. And I knew from the first tour that I went on with Brian that there was something different about him. We got close really, really fast. We talked about things that I didn't talk about with other guys. He just, we connected on a personal level in a different way than I had with anybody else. When we would go on tour, sometimes he would do something away from the crew. Like, he just broke out and, we figure, okay, he just likes his own personal space. It was kind of unusual for dudes on a trip to really want to, like, be on their own. He would, sometimes break out while everybody was eating together, kind of wanting to be away from the crew from time to time. I guess I didn't understand what that was at first, but in hindsight, I can see why.
He was different. He was way different.
I love this building. I love the old railings and the floor. But, yes, this is my apartment here in Queens. And I just moved in here in June. So, still got to decorate the walls a little bit. I got this at Walgreens. I should have bought 10 of them. It's a Lady Gaga toothbrush. I can't believe I didn't send one to Mike Carroll.
Frank Gerwer needs one of those, too. You did get Frank a Lady Gaga shirt.
You know what?
He wore all Tampa the entire time.
And he's still wearing it.
He probably's had it on since March, to be honest.
My name is Brian Anderson. I'm a professional skateboarder, and we are here to talk about the fact that I'm gay.
So Brian's basically your favorite skater, and then you find out he's gay,
and it just made me like him even more. I was like, oh, amazing! It makes him that much cooler.
So when did you first realize that you were gay?
Honestly, I'm thinking it was around like 3 or 4 years old. From seeing men's facial hair, something triggered in my head, and I guess not understanding everything in the world at that young age. But there was something that told me, well, that's right. I like that, you know? And later on a funny note, when I was watching Popeye cartoon, I just thought Bluto was so perfect. That flannel shirt and that beard, I was all about Bluto. When I was really young, I was just like, I like that character. So, which is funny.
Well, why is that funny? Funny because
it's funny because that's what I like now as an adult, you know?
Yeah, skaters are definitely not his type.
So not his type.
So not his type. So all you skaters out there, don't even trip.
I'm not attracted to skateboarders at all, so I always felt more comfortable because I was never looking at them in that way, you know? That's the last person of interest I would have as a skateboarder. It's like...
Well, because skaters that I know...
Yeah.
Definitely don't have the look that you're going for.
Yeah, I think I was more looking at the cops that would kick us out of spots. I'd be like, we're getting kicked out? Yay, I get to check somebody out. And give me a smile the rest of the day. Everybody hated getting kicked out. And I was be like, cool. And check this out. No, hearing, faggot all the time made me think at a young age that it was really dangerous to talk about it, you know?
What made you, because you came out to Phelps.
A lot of people would call him a pain in the ass and an asshole. Part of me thought like, man, he might just stand up and kick his bar stool and walk away from me. I always got along with him and I find him really interesting and there's a really good person in there. So I figured he'd be cool with it.
So Brian and I have always had a connection. When he told me, he was like, I'm gay. And I was like, gay? Like what? Who cares? What does that matter? Fuck your sexual crisis? Who cares? It's about skateboarding. We're skaters. You skate, I skate, we skate, great. Who cares a fuck if you're gay? Who gives a fuck?
The one thing that they love and respect the most is a really good skateboarder. That trumps everything, That just is like, so what are you gonna say? I mean, he's a great skateboarder, and they loved him and respected him. I guess that's what I mean. Like, there wasn't a better person to open everybody's eyes.
I've figured out how to balance it to where nobody questioned it, and I was a big, tough skateboarder. Of course they're not going to question that. Nobody thought anything.
I don't think I ever thought he was gay, because he was always a family guy, tons of sisters, I just always thought, he just really wants to find the right one. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because I come from a really big family, 11 sisters and 2 brothers, I thought, I want to have kids. This is what you do in life. Maybe this is going to be something that I will no longer feel as I get older. I will no longer have this attraction towards a man. And I will find a woman and have children. Yeah, I dated a girl in high school, and we went all the way. So I'm not what they call a gold star. I have had sex with a woman, yes. I checked that out, and I knew it wasn't totally what I liked. I had a conversation with another gay man who had kids, and he, said to me, what do you think about at night when the day is over and you're alone? Do you think about a man or do you think about a woman? I said, I think about a man. And he said, well, then you should not be with a woman.
I was putting together the Skater of the Year party. Brian was being honored, so we started to get close. He was just so respectful and just really impressed me in that way. And I think, I'd been working in a male-dominated industry. He was a breath of fresh air. We're at a bar in San Francisco. I think I said something. No, I know. I was like, Brian, you have really big hands. And he's like, I have to tell you something. And he goes, I'm gay. And I was like, Brian, I thought he was lying to me. I thought he was lying. When he told me, I was like, hey, I'm here for you, and if you want to start telling people, he started telling people.
Who was the first person that you came out to?
The first person I came out to in my life was my friend Peter Leonard. So I told my roommates, I'm going to go to Santa Rosa for the day and visit my sister, you know. And I went and met this guy downtown at his hotel, and I saw my friend Peter, who was visiting town from New York. He was staying at my apartment, and I said, hey, what's up? And I think I was like, this is my cousin Mark. Kind of took the guy Mark aside. I said, hey, I have to talk to Peter real quick. And I walked over to Peter and I was like, yo, dude, you did not see me today. I'm going to catch up with you later around the house, all right? Just like you didn't see me, all right? And he's like, yeah, sure, absolutely. Are you all right, Brian? And I was like, yeah. And I was already so shook because I never told anyone in my life. Like, I immediately had the frog in my throat, whatever you call it. And so I probably had a couple beers or something, went back to the house, and I was like, yo, Pete, let's take a walk. I was just like, I can't believe I'm telling you this, man. You know, like, I'm gay. And it was so crazy to even say that word and say that statement. You know what I mean?
I thought for sure Ed would have been the first one to know because, like you were saying about Ed, is he was very open. He's very, like, not homophobic. He's always taking photos. He's very artistic. So it's strange to me that it wasn't Ed that was the first person you came out to.
My first pro spotlight in Transworld was in 1990. And I made a specific point to talk about homophobia in skateboarding. Because even before that, I had a subscription to the Advocate magazine. I would like read the gay magazine. And he's sitting there thinking, I don't want to be this guy. I'm not a poster boy. I don't want my life to be defined by my sexual preference, which is totally valid.
If I tell him, he's going to love it. He's going to be like, I want to shoot photos and you should tell everybody and let's do this and make a zine. You know, I was probably a little scared to tell Ed because of those things because I knew he'd love it.
He's not wrong in that I would have said, hey, do this, like, this is awesome. But at the same time, I wouldn't have made him do it. I wouldn't have been like, that's it, it's happening, like, regardless of what you say. Like, if he said, I want to keep this secret, then it would be kept secret, you know, because I would respect those decisions. And over the years, like, during that early time when the rumor was flying around, I mean, I was the first person people called. Like, Ed would know, hey, is Brian gay? And I was just like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, if I found out, I would have said, this is awesome. This is like as big as turning Alyssa pro as the first girl street skater. Like Toy Machine's got the first gay skater who's legit. That would be my point. That was my point to him after the fact. I remember talking to him going like, you know, you could really affect some serious change.
What a perfect person to represent the homosexual community in skateboarding, Brian Anderson. Like, why? What a great role model.
All the gay skaters that have been out there have been marginal dudes, you know. Big Brother gave like Jared Berry the cover because he was gay, but it was kind of a novelty thing. Jared Berry is not a guy who was on people's radar. He didn't just win the world championship, you know. BA is like someone who a lot of people, that's their favorite skater. This guy won the world championship. This guy's a legit pro, a huge pro. If he were to come out and say, I'm gay, it would be, I'm gay, deal with it. All the kids who were sitting there at home thinking like, wait, my favorite skater's gay, would be forced to decide, what does that matter?
He actually just pulled me aside, man, and straight up just told me, he's like, hey, I just want you to know that I'm gay. I was kind of in shock because I was like, no way, really? Like, because I never would think of him like that. I thought of him as just some, like, manly dude, like, whatever, like, I don't know, whatever. But I was just like, oh, really? Maybe ask him questions. I'm like, hold on, like, what? Like, did you just start being gay? Or, like, what? You're gay? And then he just broke it down like he's just gay, whatever, and it is what it was. When he told me he was gay, it didn't change anything. I was like, cool, man, you know, more pussy for me.
Yeah, I mean, the world is homophobic, so to think that that skateboarding isn't, I don't know how that goes.
There's a lot of homophobia in skateboarding. There's a lot of homophobia in everything. It's not just skateboarding, you know, it's the world.
Back when you were working in skateboarding, if he would have came out then, you think he would have, like, left skateboarding?
If Brian came out, who knows what would have happened? Would have been career ending? He thought so.
You know, people ask, why are you doing this now and not earlier? It would have been a lot more beneficial. It's like, because I was pretty freaked out, you know what I mean? I was really scared, and people would have perceived it a lot differently, I think, had I said this 15 years ago.
I feel like the whole industry knew, and everybody loved Brian so much that it really didn't get out. How amazing is that?
Well, yeah, I was really fortunate to have that kind of response, and I think I might not have had that response had I done it earlier. And I started to get more guts, you know, as I achieved these awards, getting Skater of the Year, winning the, you know, World Championship in Germany. All these things, you know, I had all these achievements that nobody could ever take away from me.
When I saw you skating in Germany, like before I knew who you were, when I saw you there, I think I had just decided to get back into skating again. That was the first contest, and you were like, you were the best. Like, you were hands down the best skater at that contest.
Thanks.
Did you win that? Was that the one you won?
Yeah, Munster.
And he's had a regular fucking job. He knows what it's like to fucking really suck dick out there in the real world while you fucking country club pussies. You think about that.
First of all, before I became a pro skateboarder, I worked almost 70 hours a week often as a line cook, right? So I was going to go to culinary school, and I just basically thought what was going to happen with my life is I would grow older, find a career, peace out, and go live in the middle of nowhere, and maybe start trying to meet a guy. And I would never tell my family, I would never tell anyone, and I would just live in the middle of nowhere.
Brian always said that when he was done with his professional career was when he was going to come out.
Was there ever moments where you felt you were going to be outed by somebody like close to you, or just in, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, that person might know. Were you ever in like one of those situations like that where you felt like, oh my God, he's going to tell?
I would go to the Eagle, and I would just want to drink beer.
What's the Eagle?
The Eagle is sort of a leather bar. I would just want to go have some beers and be around other gay people and like be around my people, you know what I'm saying? And I remember seeing this dude who was on the younger side, like early 20s, and he's like, yo, BA. I think I just like grabbed him a little bit, and I was like, if you fucking say anything, dude, like, I will find you. Like, seriously, man, like, I'm just chilling out here, like, just doing my thing, like.
And he was just some kid, like.
Yeah, and he's like, you're into this scene too? Like, yeah, man, but like, I didn't want to keep talking to him because I wasn't ready yet, you know? So he was like, dude, I'm not going to say anything, man, like. And again, I didn't like threaten him like, I'll kill you, but I was just like, dude, do not. Like, I was like, so yeah, I remember that, and I was really freaked out, and I was like, man, I can't go out, you know, I have to be really careful, you know. I used skateboarding to not think about that because I knew I couldn't do that. You know, I knew I couldn't like try to go and meet some dude or something, you know what I mean? I was terrified of somebody seeing me doing that. I kind of consider myself a skateboarder first and gay second. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm a skater. Like, that's all I know. I just totally, all I thought was I would just never ever say anything, ever, and until I was done skating. I think that I had a lot of really sad moments on tours, you know, and just sleeping on the floor in a hotel room and listening to sad music and drinking a 12-pack.
Brian drinks a lot, or drank a lot, you know, and I watched him. I would watch him drown his shame in booze. You know, I just wanted him to be happy, you know, and here it comes.
I think a lot of that pent-up aggression and shame, I guess I have a little shame, that drove me to skate and try, you know, really crazy stuff and just kind of not care. Not because I wanted to get hurt or die, but I was just like, I think a part of me was so irritated and angry from holding that in. So it made me more of an animal on my skateboard.
You know, he wanted to skate. So now he's ready, and when I got the text message, I was like, yeah, this is so cool. You know, so cool for him to be able to, you know, live his life.
Luckily, I bumped into my friend Pete when I wasn't out to anybody, and it just was like, I was like, screw this, man. Like, I gotta start doing this. And I think I got a lot of good advice from the guy I was seeing at the time. You know, he wasn't pushing me to like come out to my friends or family, but he was saying the thing a lot of gay, lesbian people say to each other. He's like, well, you'd be surprised, you know? Everybody's not going to react in the negative way you might think.
Was there anybody that you came out to that was like, I'm not cool with this? Whether it was family or friend or...
Yeah, not that I recall, but I will tell you about coming out to my mother. My dad had already passed. I never came out to my father. So I remember I was in the kitchen with my mother, and she was cooking something at the stove, and I had my back to her, and I was at the kitchen table. And I said, hey, Mom, you know, I've been going to Europe a lot and visiting my sister, but I've been seeing other people there, too. I'm actually seeing somebody, Mom. It's a guy, and I'm gay. She just said, I just need to process this, you know, but she was sweet, and I just kind of gave her some space that day. Maybe I left and went skateboarding or whatever. You know what she ended up saying? I think she just said, well, I just want you to be happy. She said, you know, I just, I'm glad that you can tell me that and you don't have to suffer and keep that in anymore.
Do you feel that this is kind of the final step of coming out, where you're doing it more publicly?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I never thought that, you know, I would sit here and talk about being gay on camera, but I wanted to. A lot of the reason for this, too, I think of how I felt when I was younger and, you know, totally scared. A lot of these kids that don't have hope, you know, are really scared to death to hear what I went through and to know how everything got better for me. And I got a lot happier and felt more free and didn't have all the shame buried inside my body. You become a happier person. And so to convey that message was really important to me.
It's going to be cool that you can finally not have to have like that weird, I can't tell anybody I'm gay. That must have been so heavy and fucked up. Like, I could only imagine his life now, just being able to skate, you know, be with his boyfriend and be in a place that he likes and shit. It's pretty sick. Like, he's going to be that, like, if he's rad now and he's good to be around and then he doesn't have that on him anymore, it's like he's going to be even better.
Well, I think that in that moment when Brian probably came out, say to Phelps or dudes like NSF, it was probably like, you know, it probably changed a lot of their reactions, going like, damn, dude, like, you know what I mean? Because, like, we already love this dude. We've already given him soda, you know what I mean? And it's like, if you did have any pre-existing thoughts or, like, you know, bigotry or whatever you want to, like, you know, say, or, like, judgment, it's like, you know... You can't deny it now, you know what I mean? Because you're already in love with this dude. He is our superhero, you know what I mean? And it's like you can't take that cape off once you've, like, you know, put that on him.
I mean, shit, I'll be like about to go out or something, and I'll be like, yo, Brian, you know, am I looking fly? You know what I'm saying? And he'd tell me, and I trust him. I'm like, okay, cool.
Brian always comes up behind me and fixes my posture.
Yeah, you definitely.
Because I would always sit like this, and then I would feel 2 hands on my back, and we'd go, your posture, man, your posture.
Made that bitch look.
What's over your jeans, Brian?
I got 50 cents on it.
Washed them too many times, bro.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Brian.
Trip out, bro. The Terminators. Cold, Texas. The Terminators out there. Holy shit.
He is single-handedly responsible for my love for backside Smith grinds.
Hey, camera. Is that a Carl Zeiss lens you're wearing?
No, but then when I did find out you were gay, then I wanted to know what style of guy you liked.
Brian's gay? Shut the fuck up. Really? No, I'm just kidding.
Have you ever had one that was too big? Where you're like, I'm not fucking with that thing. Or you're like, fuck yeah.
It's big in so many ways, other than Brian just being free. It's just like, it's bigger to like our industry, our community, and there's just so many like rad things about it.
Was this whole thing about Brian?
There's gay cops, there's gay firemen, there's gay doctors. Who cares? Fuck, dude, get with it.
This is his coming out board. I mean, it's not that it's not like a flying cock or anything, but it's rainbows.
Cop car with bullet holes, Benjamins. It's all about the skrills, the toy machine neck, hella tight.
Mark that fucker.